Welcome to the place. I am the Christian, you are the atheist. That's why you're here. You type in atheist, you sort by new on YouTube, you get this guy who has a fresh take on this whole thing that I refuse to debate. I'm not interested on talking about what we disagree, but only what can we agree. We can have conversations despite our different backgrounds, our different belief systems, however you want to word that, our different perspectives on life. We can agree on some things. I mean, if I wanted to make a video about The Office, I'm like, yeah, I've seen every episode twice. Same thing with Lost. I mean, I can name things. Oh, well, we can agree on that. And I feel like we can even agree on life philosophies, despite me being a Christian, you being an atheist. So here's one. And this is just something I feel like I think about a lot, and I've always kind of thought about it a lot. But in the mind of a Christian, the second you die, you're immediately with Christ. That's the Christian concept, Christian belief there. But as many of these videos as I've made, I'm not saying all atheists believe the same, but most atheists, when they talk about what happens to their consciousness after they die, most atheists in the comment section, as individuals, so again, I'm not saying atheists all believe the same thing, but most individual atheists will say that they believe their consciousness ceases to exist the moment they die. So, and please feel free to share what you believe. And I know I'm trying to really, like walk on eggshells, because that's the word I use, is believe. But I know a lot of atheists have said that it's not a word they feel comfortable with me using. So, and that's a learning curve for me to know what word not to say or what word to use instead of believe. But ultimately, when you die, as an individual atheist, I'm assuming that you believe your consciousness no longer exists. It's like before you were born, what do you remember? Nothing, because you didn't exist. And that's exactly what happens the moment you die. Obviously, Christians don't believe that. So let's talk about that. So imagine, for someone who dies in their sleep, for example. Well, let's pretend this person is in their 80s. They lived a good life. They weren't necessarily having any major health problems, but hey, they're 85 years old and they just died peacefully in their sleep. They never knew what happened. Okay, so let's assume that person was a Christian. Okay, and let's imagine Christianity is real. So they die believing in Christ. They die in their sleep at age 85. They wake up and Jesus welcomes them to eternity, and everything the Bible said is true. Now they're in heaven and they're in paradise and everything's great for eternity. Or what if that same person was an atheist and their perception was that you cease to exist in any form as far as consciousness goes when you die. So that same 85-year-old person is now instead an atheist. So they go to bed thinking, okay, what am I going to do in the morning? I'm going to eat some oatmeal first thing when I wake up. And then they're thinking about their friend Martha, who always invites them to church and has just never given up on them, and how Martha wants them to believe in Christ and have hope for this life after. And they just think, you know what, I just can't be down with what Martha's saying. That's not what I believe. They go to sleep. They die in their sleep as an atheist. And that's it. So there's never a moment where they get any confirmation of that. So it's really weird for me that just the thought of, like, if you're an atheist and you just die without realizing it, you'll never get any confirmation about any of this because you cease to exist. That's almost difficult for me to really even process, that you live this very eventful life, a good life even, and how anticlimactic that just, you don't even realize that it ended. It never, in theory, it never happened, because you have no memory of it at all, and you don't even realize that you're passing from life to death. Or if we need another example, you could be driving in a car and you could turn to look this way, and then bam, an 18-wheeler instantly kills you in the middle, whatever you're thinking, and you never get confirmation of that. I think that's actually, I'm going to use the word fascinating. I think it's a fascinating concept. If you're an atheist who believes your consciousness ceases to exist the moment you die, you'll never get confirmation that you're even dying. Much more, you'll never get confirmation that your views as an atheist were accurate versus Christians. which is the complete opposite of Christians, because not only do we believe that there is life after we die, but we believe there's an eternal existence beyond that, which is going to either be heavenly or it's going to be life without God. So, I don't guess I'm really asking you a question in this one. It's just comments. Just the point of this video is I think it's fascinating if you're an atheist who believes consciousness ceases to exist, because you never get confirmation and you don't even realize that you're dying in that moment. Because at least if you're a Christian and you die in your sleep or whatever, you immediately have consciousness after and the life after this. Your comments on that belong right here.